Welcome to our Techno Apps subject. We will talk about our topic, Techno Gadget. And again, I'm your teacher, Shalome W. Pareha. Our topic for this week is all about grasping the basics of electronic components. Again, this is all about Techno Gadget under Techno Apps subject. For our lecture, a simple circuit is a closed-loop path in which an electronic circuit flows. A simple circuit requires three components. The first one is voltage source. Example, battery, power supply, or typical electrical outlet. The second one is conductive path. Typically made of wires, it is a route through which current flows. And the third one is a load or output. It could be a light bulb, a speaker, a buzzer, or an electrical motor. It means that it is a component that consumes power. Here is an example of a simple circuit. It composed of a switch, a battery, and a lamp. The switch is the voltage source. The voltage source is the battery, while the switch is the conductive path, while the lamp is the output. Series circuit. Series circuit is when all components or devices are connected in a manner that there's only one pathway for the charges to go through. If one component is removed, then no current will flow through the circuit as there is one path. Series connection is commonly used in all Christmas light connection. So, a best example of a series circuit is a Christmas light connection. In the example, 3 bulbs are powered by a battery in a series designed circuit. Current flows from the battery to the first bulb up to the third bulb. This is because current can flow in one path, as shown in the illustration. If a bulb blew out, another bulb will not be able to light up because the flow of the current is cut off, and if you remove any of the bulb, current flow would also be cut off. The second one is a parallel circuit. Parallel circuit is one that has 2 or more pathways for charges to go through. Due to the nature of multiple paths, one defective circuit won't damage the other. This is the common circuitry in homes. For example, the wiring of your television and lights are parallel. Hence, when the television is off, the lights would still be in function. In the example, 3 bulbs are powered by a battery in a parallel circuit design. It is given that in parallel circuit, current can flow in more than one path. If one bulb blew out, other bulbs would not be affected because the flow of the current of the said bulb will not be a hindrance. Voltage source. One example of this is a battery. A battery is a device that converts a stored chemical energy into an electrical energy. It consists of 2 or more cells connected in a series or in a parallel. A cell contains a positive terminal, which is called cathode, and a negative terminal called anode. In the example, A is a single cell, B is a battery, and C is a battery holder single, D is a battery holder for a multiple, and E is a battery holder coin. So, it has a different type of illustration depending on what kind of battery are you using in your illustration. power supply. Power supply is called power adapter. It is a component that supplies power to at least one electric load. It converts one type of electric power to another. It could be alternating current to direct current. So, letter A is a direct current voltage source and B is a alternating current voltage source. Wires. Wires are used to carry loads. Electrical and signal wires come into two different forms, solid wires and stranded. Solid wire, also called solid core or single strand wire, is composed of a single metal strand, usually a copper, that is insulated with non-conductive materials. Stranded wire is composed of roll-up strand wires. If you are to compare both wires and with the same size, stranded wires show more flexibility than the solid wires. So, with our example, stranded wire is the one in color red and the solid wire is the one covered in color black. Breadboard. Breadboard is a tool used for prototyping circuit temporarily as you don't need to solder the electronic components to it. Most of the electronics component can be interconnected by inserting its terminal into the holes of the breadboard. Underneath the breadboard are strips of metal. These metal strips connects to the terminal holes on the top of the board. Power rails are also metal strip that is identical to the horizontal one except that they are all connected to each other. Light emitting diode or LED. Light emitting diode is one of the most commonly used electrical components in projects. These LEDs are polarized, so you have to be very careful in hooking them up. The positive lead or the longer leg is called anode, while the negative leg or the shorter leg is called cathode. Resistors. Resistors are electronic components that consist the flow of electrons or current. The ability to reduce the current of a resistor is called resistance, and it's measured in unit of ohms. Symbol is in the Greek capital omega. The lower resistance of a material in ohms is the better act as a conductor. Conversely, the higher resistance is, the better it acts as an insulator. Resistors are passive components, meaning they are not capable of generating power. They only consume it. All resistors have two terminals. Unlike other components, it has no polarity. Here is an example of a schematic symbol of a resistor. R1 is an ANSI standard symbol and R2 is the European standard symbol. Since resistors are often too small to have value or number written on them, you can figure out the resistance of a resistor by its color code. There are two types of color-coded resistor. The first one is the 4-band resistor. In a 4-band resistor, the first two bands indicate that the first two digits of the value. The third band is the multiplier and the fourth band is the tolerance. The multiplier is a certain value to the first two digits. So for our example, we have 68 times 100 plus 5% is equal to 68 ohms plus 5%. So the second type of resistor is a 5-band resistor. For a 5-band resistor, the first 3 bands are the 3 digit with 3 digits in the value. The fourth band is the multiplier and the fifth band is the tolerance. Later on, I will show you the table on how different values of resistors corresponding on its color. So here is the standard resistor color code. So it shows the different values matched with corresponding colors. You will use 4-band and 5-band types of resistor in our future activities. So it is important that you will be familiar with both types. Higher resistant value represented by kilo ohms and mega ohms is shown in the table. Input devices or sensors. Sensors defined as the device that receive a measured and convert it to electrical signal that is compatible with electronic circuit. In other words, your resistor's job is to translate non-electrical signal into electrical output that can easily be read and understood. The measured can be light, motion. They measure can be light, motion, pressure, heat, or chemicals. The active element of a sensor is called transducer. Transducer is a device that converts one form of energy to another. Contact sensors or switch. Contact sensors are devices that sense mechanical contact and converts it into electrical signal. A switch is the most common type of contact sensor. Switches usually have 2 or more sets of contact and designed to have either open or closed contact when it is actuated. Push buttons. Push buttons is a type of switch that functions momentarily. The figure shows that S1 is normally open contact. It is closed whether the switch is actuated, and ST is normally closed contact. It is open when the switch is actuated. Usually, push button is used to turn on or turn off appliances, computers, MP3s, and others. Tilt sensor. It is a device that opens and closes a circuit depending on the orientation and position. Basically, this switch is a hollow cylinder with a metal ball that will make a contact with the LEDs when tilted in the proper direction. So do you have any questions or clarification? Because if there's none, let's proceed by answering our objective test and performance test. Here is the rubrics on how you will be graded based on our activity. We have here the following criteria: functionality, wiring connection and presentation, and lastly, visual and creativity. So if you do not have any more questions or clarification about our activity and our lesson for today, please always remember to stay safe and happy learning to everyone.